Start streaming, but we are streaming. Welcome back, everybody, to the Rookzer0 Drawcast. It is December 16th. Today is the viewer suggestion, so we are going to be accepting some D&D character ideas today, and we'll give them a quick sketchy poo. Let's jump on into the Discord so we can actually say hello to people. That would be probably beneficial to everybody. Oops. Might help if I actually copied the link and put it places that people can see it. So yeah, delete that, get that out of the way, go there, boop, 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 boop. All right, we're up and going. Here we go. I'm gonna start off today by drawing some rugby, as is my usual warm-up. I've been drawing a lot of kobolds lately, which has been a lot of fun, but you know, something about good old rugby that still sticks around. It's been a weird week. I assume it's December and people are hanging out. People are off and doing things, getting busy. It is that time of the year. Don't have a lot of plans this year, so I'm probably just gonna hang around the house and try to get some work done. Per the usual. Well, that's not usually. Usually I jump off and about. Welcome, Snake with a Hat. Welcome, Corvus. Title screen's still up. Well, I'll darn it. Let's go ahead and fix that so people can see what's going on. Bloop, bloop. There we go. We got some rugby going on. Let's see if we can get some derp rugby this morning. How's everybody doing today? Hoping it was doing well. Oh no, I don't know what I've done with this rugby to make it look so strange. But it's out there. Let's go really big with the eyes. Let's go like catfish level of eyes. Actually, catfish have really small eyes, but for some reason I want to draw them huge. Blur. Give him his little feather. Do some of that. I didn't get the music thing set up yesterday. I'll have to fiddle with that again today. It's been a quiet week so far. I guess it's only Wednesday, so it's been a quiet week. I haven't seen Druid or Ace or Jonas around. Got nobody to draw with today. Corvus, how are you doing? Dee, welcome. Welcome. Doing some doodling today. Get some of these sketches in here. Get all these line works out of the way. Morning. Yeah. Yep, feather rugby. We're going back to the original. OG feather rugby. That's right. That's right. Let's add some of this. Do some sketches. Here we go. Okay, I guess I'll give my suggestion. Snake with a Hat. A Revenant Hollowed One Grave Knight. Hollowed one, huh? It's just undead, right? Gotcha. I wonder why I was getting this in my suggestions that I remembered watching your videos on.
Tabaxis. I think that's what that says, Lyra. Well, thank you. Thank you for telling me that you actually saw the video and the suggestion. That's good to know. I've been having some issues with YouTube. Like, I think partially it's because I streamed every day on YouTube for a while, and it just kind of over flooded the suggestions. So I think we're gonna do the viewer suggestion. So if you have a suggestion for a D&D character you'd like to see sketched, we'll do that every Wednesday here, and then we'll go from there. We'll see how it do. Let me finish up my little rugby sketch here. Give him crazy spiky toes, unwieldy goblin feet. Okay. Alright, there we go. So we have a Grave Knight, a Revenant Grave Knight. Can you make a plant-based Warforged Paladin? Yeah, I can do that. I can absolutely do that. Ah! No, I think that's actually really legit. I think the Warforged should definitely be able to be not traditionally made out of just one type of material. Plant Warforged Paladin. Gripply Alchemist. Poisons. Something interesting. In Pathfinder, there's a Weirwood, which is basically the exact story of the Warforged, but they were made out of magical wood, made by wizards for combat, and then eventually killed all the wizards. Yeah, the Leshies but the Leshies are like almost more like elementals, I think, than constructs, but it's the same thing. They're just plant folk. Snake with a hat. If there's a Warforged druid that would wild shape into a robot version of the animals or the animals themselves, yeah, I mean, Beast Wars. We talk about that all the time. There absolutely is. I think the druids are turned into metal animals. Absolutely. Oh, is there an Eberron? That's awesome. Okay, Tabasco. Yeah, the Tabascos are great. Tabasco cats. All right, let's get some of these started. Undead Grave Knight. Oh, I do love drawing me some undead. Here we go. You know why it's easy to draw undead, right? Because you just don't have to draw any of the muscles or the skin. Taking a whole big chunk of... Oh yeah, like with the World of Warcraft zombies that for some reason their heads get bigger. They're just like, zombie now. I don't understand that either. I mean, I guess the original design of the ghouls was pretty great when they were the little when it was required for the Warcraft 3 units. They looked pretty silly. Since we're going Grave Knight, I think I'm going to actually go Armored instead of... Oh, Grave Cleric. I'm sorry. I'm thinking something. Yeah, they are heavy armored, so maybe we will do that anyways. You know what we'll do, though? For all my clerics. We'll do it nice, you know. I'm going to go skeleton underneath with armored helmet on top. Like this. Like a bright red glowy eye. That looks really silly, and that's not my intent, so maybe we will do that again. Let's try one more time. It's early. I gotta warm up. Warm up a little bit. Yeah, medieval. Yeah. I always think about that game too. That was I think it was probably one of those games that was free to play. It came with a demo disc on the PlayStation. Yeah, I mean, they came out like every other month. It was great. Love the demo discs. Played the same Tony Hawk's Pro Skater level like 1,000 times. You have 2 minutes. Ah! Go, go, go. Is this how I want to do this? No, I'm not sure. Something that... if you've watched my Undead video, and if you haven't, I highly suggest it. The Revenant thing they did with for Critical Role, specifically for Liam's character. I'm not sure if I like it. I think it's not that it's bad. Like, it's definitely a way to play the character, but I just I feel like if there's no negatives to it, it's like, oh, by the way, you're dead. And it's like, yeah, but that's fine. It's like I want there to be negatives for being not alive. I feel like that's the key struggle for most players anyways. Yeah, no, that's fine. But if you're divine undead and you have, then you're brought back by the deity, aren't you just not dead at that point? Like, is that, I think that, I mean, yeah. Right. I guess you are trading your but at that point, like, you really could just sell your soul to like any devil for superpowers. And it'd be the same thing. Isn't it where you're undead you can't hear through magic? Did you mean heal through magic? Oh, it does say heal through magic. Man, my eyeballs are not working today. I totally read that as heal through magic. Yes, and so that's the 3.5 Pathfinder construct rules. Where healing magic actually would hurt you as an undead. So that's the way I would prefer to play it, and that's generally what I have my players do. And that's why with the Revenant, and 5th edition does the same thing with Warforged. That healing magic is just healing magic and it doesn't matter. I'm like, well, that kind of removes the... Which, once again, if you haven't seen my Warforged video, go check out my Warforged video. They're almost the same video. Yeah. The Warforged and our constructs, and I look at undead as constructs as well, because they're just constructs of flesh. Welcome, welcome. Okay, how can we make this dude look pseudo dead? That's the question. Maybe we'll give him like... I watched it. Chunks of skin missing. Just make him like a zombie here. He's got no lips. Yep, let's take a suggestion. That is not a D&D character. I'll write it down. Living spellbook. Could you heal Warforged by using the mending cantrip? That's actually the sole way. That mending and make whole, I think, are really the only two ways you should be able to do that. Without just spending time. Like, I'm fine with repairing. But I do like the use of mending. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're a cyborg, that's different. But once again, don't remember that at all. Is that on one of the newer episodes? Did I miss that? Oh, gotcha. I've made this look fishy, and I don't want it to look fishy. I want it to look like a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of Hellboy action going on here. Let's see how this goes. Maybe we'll do like a big old chess piece. Ooh, maybe a big old... Here we go. Okay, I got this. And this hand will be really bony, though. I like the idea that the like, your body's just kind of like held together by the armor. Like, oh, that's not good. Oh, my skin's gone. That's bad. Do something like this. Do this pretty quick. And then we'll get the plates here. See how this is going. But yeah, so the make whole cantrip, I would definitely allow that, because like that's cool. It's like, oh, I can heal up super easy with a cantrip. It's like, yeah, it still takes a turn because you're using an action for it. But basically you don't suffer from long-term damage. So if you can get out of combat and you have enough time to just repair yourself, you can. Like that's the beauty of it. Healing magic does not work. You have no internal in combat healing without just like spending time to do that, and it's really weak. Because I think the mini cantrip only heals up to like 8 hit points of something. At least that's how I would roll it, as like a half of a heal spell, because it's cantrips, like a D4 of healing, just so it's not really meant for in healing, in combat healing. But beyond that, the other thing you can worry about is the fact that you don't have a Constitution score. That's the other thing that's missing from Pat or D&D, is that you still have a Constitution score. And I like that trade-off of, like, basically you don't have to save for diseases and stuff, but if you ever hit 0 hit points, you're just dead. You're broken. Broken, smashed, and that's it. Yeah. But that's okay. I think that's a cool way to look at it, because if you have something like Raise the Dead as a spell versus Revive, I don't see why that you wouldn't just come back. Someone just has to have Raise the Dead. And you're like, ah, dang it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely a... Yeah, the Final Fantasy hit point system is not as static as it should be. Basically look at it as... Because I guess you don't really ever die, though. You always get knocked out, and the Phoenix Downs bring you back from knocked out. Because if you die, you have to restart the game. You have to... Yep, doesn't have any lips. No lips do not a good smile make. Let's do something like this. Just get some sweet little armaments in here. I'll do something like this. Just want everything to be kind of jaggedy. What up? Hello, Newman. How's it going? Talking about Warforged and Undead again. Seems to be a hot topic for this channel, yeah. I think I just have a strange outlook on those two, on constructs. Maybe that's why people talk to me about it. All right, I think that's gonna be that. I want to make this hand a little better because I did want this to look like bones. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. Bone cleric. It was a grave cleric. Is that what it was? I actually really like that idea that you have an undead grave cleric. It's a really fun idea. Just like, oh yeah, you spend a few hundred years in a coffin in the ground, and then you're like, you know what? I need to do something about this. Yeah. No, you can have clerics without deities, or sorry, paladins without deities. Yeah, I mean, and that's not. Yeah, that's not. That's not actually not solely for 5th edition. That's it's just not normally looked at. Like, people don't think about that. Like, the paladins are all about an oath or a law or a code, and that's really what the lawful stipulation is that you need to have something like that. And then, but beyond that, you know, you can do whatever you want. Like, I'm a big fan of paladins. Like a sheriff could be a paladin, and he draws his power from the people. I really like that. I think that's really cool. There you go. Yep, I consider her a paladin. Let's get some of these in here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no problem, Snake. Plant Warforged Paladin. Thank you, Lara. That sounds rough. I don't know. Yeah, if you're gonna make a, it seems, how do I say this? Are you making the character as an NPC or for a player? No, they don't have to. But my question then becomes, should that player be in your campaign? Like, if you have a campaign based around no worship, like worship is outlawed, is that going to be the main tenet of their character? Like, they're trying to hide it, or should that character maybe not be in that game if they're solely focused on Yep, I can hear it. I was saying, basically, if your character, it sounds like if you have a world that's like, hey, no religion, no worship, nothing, and someone's like, I want to be a paladin, and it's like, well, is that maybe that's not a good character for that world, or is their character going to be based around them trying to hide the fact that they're that they worship, or that they are trying to solve that? Right. So I'm not asking whether or not they have done this. This is kind of a question for you as the DM. Are you going to change your world around that, or are you going to have them change the character to fit the world? Okay. Yeah, it just seems really okay. I mean, that's just, those are conversations you're going to have with your players if their characters directly contradict your world. So. Go ahead and work on this Warforged here. This is supposed to be a plant-based Warforged, right? So I think I'm gonna go with my plant folk. I just love like the tendrils coming out of the helmet. I think that's really cool. I'm gonna go into the wooden mask here. Yeah, I would just say just think about it. Think about it and talk to them about it. Because if they want to have like a paladin that's going around trying to convince people to convert them, because I've had people play that before, that's probably not going to work in your setting, or it's going to complicate things consistently. It's like if you started a campaign that was all about a heist, and someone's like, "I'm playing a really loud bard that just makes noise all the time and has whoopee cushions everywhere." It's like, that's probably not the best character for this campaign. Like maybe don't do that. So it's one of the, not every player, not every character works with every campaign. So make sure, yep, definitely something to talk about with your players before you start. Or if you're running a Harry Potter campaign, you're like, I want to be a barbarian that can't read. It's like, how did you get into Hogwarts? I'm very confused. Also, I hate magic. It's like, what? Hold on a second. Did I mention this was Hogwarts? You can totally do that. It just has to inform the character, right? It has to be. If it doesn't fit the setting, then it just doesn't fit the setting, and that's fine. But I love superstitious barbarians. It's so funny. Should I just make all of this out of wood? Is that what I should do? It's just all about expectations. You don't want your character to be all about like, oh yeah, I do this and my god is great. I have all these great paladin powers. It's like, well, you're not allowed to worship, so you can't do them. It's like, that sucks. Alright, so let's get some brambles in here. I'm gonna make this a brambly paladin. Could you go get into magic school with a sports scholarship? Sorry, Snake. That's what you're talking about. Maybe. It's less about like, because like I think you could definitely do that, right? You could play the like, I'm really good at Quidditch, but I suck at all magic. That's fine. Or maybe you secretly hate magic. But all of those things are. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what informing the character is about. Versus if you're like, I'm making a Harry Potter campaign, and someone's like, I hate magic. I'm just gonna play barbarian, and it's like, maybe you just shouldn't play this campaign with us. Like, if it doesn't sound like you're gonna have fun the whole time, Unless you want to make your character, you know, I'm there on a sports scholarship and I'm just bad at magic. Versus I refuse to use magic. I think magic is dumb and I'm not going to use it. I'm just here to swing at stuff with my axe. It's like, this is school, you can't have an axe. It's like, well, I'm a barbarian. It's like, all of these things are arguments that could happen. And that's why it's important to talk to your players. Yep, there you go. I mean, you could also there are definitely ways to play a barbarian at Hogwarts. Don't get me wrong. Don't think that was my point. My point was very hyperbolic. All about talking to your players. I don't think I have that. I don't think that's how thorns work. Maybe it is. Who knows? I'm gonna go for the big old sword. Ooh, would a plant-based paladin use a sword, or would they use like an axe or a hedge trimmer? Yeah, a maul would be good. A whip would be interesting too. Give him a glaive. Everybody loves glaives. I don't know. I do not know what that is. Gotcha. That's good. Yeah, good. Thinking of it that way. I don't like mushrooms. I need to do a Mike and Ed video here soon. I think people want it. But I eat mushrooms. I just creep me out a little bit. Yeah, they're meat plants. Like, you shouldn't have meat plants. That's not how that works. That's weird. Nature is weird. That is the comment of the century. Yeah. No arguments can be made. Nature is weird. All right, Werner Herzog. I actually like a lot of his stuff. Yeah, that's what we're drawing right now. You're not watching the video, are you? Hey, Mr. Sai. I think you could absolutely have a wooden Warforged. Anyone that tells you otherwise is trying to sell you something. I mean, that's true for everything that's not metal, though. Like, people are not more resilient to fire than wood is. Maybe they are a little bit because they're kind of wet, but it's still not good. I don't know, but if you're a Warforged made out of wood and you get lit on fire, like, do you care? Like, do you are you taking damage, or are you now bonus because you have fire damage like zombies do? Yeah, I guess it also depends on how well you take care of yourself. Like, do you like cover yourself in epoxy? Are you well oiled? Are you saturated wood? Do you get heavier when it rains? Yep. I think you'd be highly susceptible to catching fire, but I don't think you'd take extra damage. I guess that's really my argument. Is I don't think you would take extra damage for being made out of wood, but you would be highly susceptible to catching fire. Yeah, because I feel like
exactly, and if you're a warforged and like you get the flame breath on you, I feel like you would be more resilient to the actual flame itself because you're like, okay, yep. Whereas like a person is just in pain, on fire, and melting. But the warforged is just kind of like, okay, I'm on fire now. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of trees here in the U.S. that require burning. Yeah, their seeds don't germinate until after a fire. Which is pretty cool. Well, not if the trees. I think the reasoning behind that, from an evolutionary standpoint, is most likely that there was
trees are always fighting for space, right? Like they have to have light, and so when's the best time to sprout? When there's nothing else around you. How do trees go away? Fire. Like that was the only thing for a while until funguses showed up. Going back to funguses, so the only way to get rid of trees was for things to burn. And so a lot of these trees that have really long-lived periods basically just wait. They lay their seeds all over the place, and when everything burns up, they regerminate, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, there's my plant forge, my wood forged character with the glaive for some reason. I'm gonna... well, that's a plant. Wood's a plant. Oh yeah, iron. What is it? Ironwood. There's a Pathfinder. They have ironwood, which is pretty great. You can just make any weapon out of wood. Gripplies. Gripply alchemist. Yeah, we don't need to have an argument about whether or not people should wear armor, please, in the Discord. This is not a good conversation. Go ahead and try to get this Gripply out here. Only if you're rich and a knight. Because frogs look like hand puppets.
Burning, welcome. I mean, Kermit the Frog is like the epitome of puppetry, because he's literally just a sock puppet with googly eyes. Kermit the Frog here. Blah, blah, blah. Ah. Dude, he can sing and play the banjo. Kermit the Frog is seriously like one of the simplest puppets that ever existed. They're like, what if we put cardboard in his mouth? Hey, it looks like a frog. And then they're like, now it's a monster because it's got fur. And now you all know how puppets work. Get out there and make your puppets. Let's get some. Who said National Treasure counts as a documentary? I just accepted. Tristan, I don't believe you. Sell me on that. What was that? It's a Gripply Alchemist. Can't tell if trolling or just accidentally. I can't say that. I was gonna make a really bad internet joke. You ever get to the weird part of YouTube where you start learning about aliens and cryptids? Yep. I kind of like some of those things. Not the... What is it? Yeah, I mean that's the hop, skip, and the jump. Unfortunately, is it's like it goes cryptozoology, which I'm like, yeah, Bigfoot, great, and then it's like aliens. It's like, okay, and then it's like flat Earth, and you're like, wait a minute, where am I? And then they're like, yeah, let's talk about like why all these other countries are primitive, and it's like, okay, I'm going somewhere really bad, and just like start clearing your browser history. You're like, I don't want this. I don't want any of this. Take me back to the aliens. Yeah. Did you know there's Nazis living on the moon? It's like, okay. let's go back here a little bit. He had a collection of dinosaur skulls, 2 albino king cobras, and allegedly trained them to be like guard dogs. 2 private Bohemian hives. How else did he buy all these things? I'm so lost. I'm so lost. Did Nicolas Cage have all these things? Or did the character in the movie have all these things? I think there might be some serious troll going on here, but feel free to put it in the voice channel chat. I want to see it. Yeah, if you're saying it's a documentary of like Nicolas Cage's stuff, absolutely. Nicolas Cage has all these things. Okay, great. No, that makes total sense. That makes total sense then. Well, yeah, apparently he bought 2 albino king cobras. Well, and he's been in every single movie that's ever existed. Like, they have that, what was it, Kevin Bacon, like the 3 steps from Kevin Bacon or something? It should just be like why everybody knows Nicolas Cage. That's the next game. Because how else would you have money for this? Yeah, exactly. Like, as soon as you buy your first crocodile, you're like, oh, I need to be in 5 more movies. Like, that's just how that works. How am I going to pay to feed this thing? I still have not watched The Tiger King. After all the weird stuff I've seen on the internet, I have not watched The Tiger King. Yeah, I really do like cryptozoology. Just like seeing all of the weird shit people have seen, they've said, said they've seen, and like, tell me about this. Tell me about why you've seen these things. Like, I want to build a monster manual of cryptids, but every time you do that, it's like, look at the giant snake that's at the bottom of the ocean. I'm like, yeah, let's look at that giant snake that they found at the bottom of the ocean. Like, also, the Egyptians didn't build the pyramids. And it's like, wait, what? No, go back to the snake thing. What were you talking about with the snake thing? It's just like, hold on a minute. Yeah. Also, exactly. It's like, this is straight out of Cthulhu. And by that, I mean super racism. And it's like, okay. Hold on. Oh, no, I absolutely agree with that. With the fact that, Lovecraft was not a kind or good person. Yeah. Just anxiety and like loathing of people. It makes no sense. He's just oh well. I hate change. I hate change in math and people that aren't like me. Tone it down, man. Yeah. It sucks because like I like reading the Lovecraft things, but like there's so much cringe in it. It's like, man, I don't want to support this, but I also like this. What do I do? It's always conflicting. Yeah. It kind of goes the whole occult history. The whole history of occult is kind of bled through between like weird shit people have seen and weird shit that rich people say happened. And so it's like that's where you have to kind of filter between those two things all the time. So it's like, did aliens actually come over here and help the Nazis? Or is that something that the Nazis just wanted people to think? Or a little bit of both? Or did... Oh, push-ups, yay! Thank you, Brian, by the way. Welcome to the chat. We're drawing a Gripply alchemist today. Alright, I'm just doing my push-ups. I'm slowly taking down the mile counter. And I'm doing them. 7, 8, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. But yeah. Like, it really is the whole like alien Lovecraft alternate reality science binge that spawned Hellboy is great. Like it's so weird and just kind of unearthly that I love looking at it, reading about it, but it's always smattered with like, how can we make people suffer in some way? Hello, Sierra. Welcome, Sierra. Oh boy. All right, more push-ups in celebration of Sierra showing up. Apparently, we can do that. I'm okay with that.
She lives! Ah. 6, 8. Well, I assume for the rest of your life. 18. Yeah, just as a rule of thumb, I assume I will live for the rest of my life. That's my goal. Mind Flayer Bard, I like that. Whew. Oh, okay. I thought you were trolling us with the whole. What would a Mind Flayer Bard play? Maybe he's got like a mouth flute or something that he just plays with the tentacles. Or like multiple flutes. I went. Did he have a flute? Oh, he did have an organ. You're right. Did J.B. Jones only have one hand? Oh, he had like a claw, right? What you buying? I had some of my players find a goo, like I think it was a black pudding or something, in a vial 10 levels ago, and they still have it in their bag, and they've just never looked at it. And so I was like, "What's in this vial?" I'm like, "Well, it's some kind of black liquid." Like, cool, and they just that's it. We never talked about it ever again. Yeah, like the poison alchemist or something. I can't remember what it's called exactly. Bogborn, okay. I assume I saw most of the suggestions. Yep, we did talk about that. I'm on top of the chat. I'm on top of it today, I hope. I don't know what I've done with these feet, but that's fine. I think. Yeah. The mysterious black goo. I do like the poison function of Gripply's. If you haven't checked out my Gripply video, it's almost the end of the year. I gotta pump those numbers. Let me get those numbers up. Oh, they're garbage. The Pathfinder rules for poisons are complete garbage. There's the just stupidest thing anybody I've ever. That's not true. I'm being very hyperbolic. It's not good. It's it's not good. They're like, all right, so here's what we do. You get your dagger. You get 600 gold worth of poison. You take a turn and you dip it in there. Then you stab somebody. If you hit them, they take 1d2 strength damage, and the poison is nullified. It's like, what? That's it? Their DC never goes up, so past level 3 is completely useless on most things. Alright, that was the Gripply Alchemist. Living Spellbook. Living Spellbook. Here we go. I actually have an idea for this, and yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was just gonna draw notes all over somebody, like tattoos. I think that's much better. But I will put it on a book. I am gonna make a book. Yeah, I was thinking about Rise. Gets the scroll tattooed all over his body.
Yeah, Bob the Skull. Bob the Skull is one of my favorite characters. Mm. Oh, right. I keep forgetting that the show exists. Yep, spellbook time. All right, well, catch you later. I need to chop some wood later too. It's getting. I've been avoiding doing it because of being sick, but I'm better now. Now I gotta start chopping that wood. Then why am I drawing it? If you already drew it, why do you have me draw it if you don't want to see me draw it? I'm super confused. Like, do you need to show it off? Because you can show it off without the pageantry. Well, you're getting what I'm doing. Yeah. No free commissions today. Yep. Them's the rules. I guess these are all kind of free commissions, but it's a reason I limit it to one sentence. Right. Yeah. All right. That makes more sense. That makes way more sense. I thought you were like, I have this whole thing designed. Let me tell you how to do it. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That could be fun though someday. That would be like a Patreon reward. Hope everybody's doing all right. It's been a weird week. Weird, slow week so far. Brah! Take that, He-Man. But, no, I think that's good. I think that's about where I would take this. Just have the... Would you put an angle bracket on the inside of the book? I don't think you would. I think you would put a collar on the end. That might have a hinge on it. Oh... those usually have a lot of really like cool intricate tattoos on them. Not tattoos, but like paintings. I want to get really good at that. I really like sugar skulls, but I have not gotten great with them. Not something I put a lot of practice into yet. Brian, did you get that wooden book made yet? I want to see how that goes. Or was that a secret? I hope that wasn't a secret. Everybody forget what I just said. I'm designing this one villain and I need to see some input. So he's going to be dressed as a noble wearing a golden plague doctor mask. He's a serial killer, similar to Jack the Ripper, using his victims' remains to create Lovecraftian abominations. Frankenstein style. What kind of magic would you use for them? Necromancy. Yeah. Some kind of eldritch magic or necromancy. I would definitely go with necromancy, just because the eldritch stuff, like the abomination, not abomination, but what's the word I'm looking for? Is it abomination? Aberrant magic. I think fits really well into the necromantic schools because you're kind of doing something otherworldly. Is makes it aberrant magic. You're still like crafting the flesh of the material plane. So I think material magic should do that. Versus if you want something that's different, like maybe coming up with a different type of magic that is otherworldly. It still has to follow the laws of our universe while we're here. Yeah. So I would just definitely make it a type of necromancy. After that, though, you can do all kinds of weird stuff with it. All right, there's my book. There's the living book. Maybe we'll put some, like, weird lines on it. Dollar Tree knockoff Mind Flayer-like creatures. Yeah, even the Mind Flayers still use, material plane magic. Like the same planar magic, I guess is what I should say, not material plane. Because I think it could be a lot of fun. I've also done a lot of Kevin the Necromancer does a lot of weird flesh golems and the alike constructs, living constructs, and you can kind of do whatever you want with them. Like there's even the Pathfinder books have a lot of things for flesh golems, and what the hell is the thing I'm trying to think? It's a fleshcraft is what it's called, and it basically is a point buy system for you get so many points per level, and you can get things like tentacles or claws or bite attacks, and then you can look up whatever I just said. Fleshcraft in the Pathfinder universe. It's a pretty good system, and it works really well for D&D as well, because you're basically building a creature for the monster manual, and it gives you a point system to do that. It works really well. So there we go. I'm gonna give it a little chain. I think that would be kind of cool. A little chain and a hook. Boop, 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 boop. All right, there we go. Living book. Howdy. We'll put some runes on his head. There we go. All right. Howdy. Mind Flayer Bard. All right, here we go. I feel like I'm going to be a heretic by saying this, but what are the differences between Pathfinder and D&D, as I still need... I'm new to all this. Pathfinder is based off of 3.5 and is 3.5 compatible, so it's third edition compatible. And so really what you're asking should be, what's the difference between Pathfinder and 5th edition? Pathfinder is basically more complicated but simplified 3.5, and 5th edition is hyper simplified D&D kind of overall, meant for ease of access and storytelling versus mechanics. Pathfinder is a lot more oriented for people that want to do combat and mechanically work their way through an environment. Yeah, that's kind of the best way to think about it. Pathfinder is D&D with lots of math. Which D&D already has some math, but Pathfinder has more. Let's do this. Mind Flayers all have that scowl. You have to have the little, like, "Rah!" Dude. I can still hear it. It was just a little off topic. I don't have anything to add to it. Sorry. Yep. I heard it. I sorry, I didn't have anything to add. Like, it sounds like I don't disagree with you. I just don't know what to add to that. It was kind of off topic. I heard it though. I did hear you. Okay. Good luck. Catch you later. Whoop, whoop. Let's do some of this. Well, I suck at math, so I'm going to stay away from Pathfinder then. Yeah, Pathfinder. Generally, what I do is I've played Pathfinder forever, so I just have it in my head. Whenever people want to learn D&D, I always have them learn on 5th edition. It's super simple and great. And then if they want to get more complex, like the only time I've introduced people to Pathfinder first is if they have something like they've played a video game. They're like, this is what I want to do. It's like, that's going to be really easy to do in Pathfinder. But anytime I've introduced people to Pathfinder, they usually get overwhelmed, and I have them play 5th edition for a little bit. And then after they play 5th edition for a little while, they're like, I want to go back to Pathfinder. It had so much more stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's totally fine. Now 2nd edition came out, and just watched a video yesterday about people being still upset that it's so complicated. And it's like, yeah, that's what it is. Like, it's more stuff. That's really all it is compared to D&D. It's just D&D with more stuff and more math. And if that's what you're into, because like I have a bunch of engineering friends that just love it to death, then that's great. And their complaints with 5th edition is that like, this is way too simple. And it's like, yeah, that's totally fair. Like, that's what it's designed for. I don't see those as like terrible critiques, because if you changed them, they wouldn't be what they are. So I definitely think they should just remain their own things. Okay, I was going to give them the little flute, but I think I have a better idea now. Everyone hang tight. This is about to get real weird. Saxophone mind flayer. I'm gonna give him a little doot. I'll give him a cloak. I feel like all mind flayers wear a cloak. I don't know what mind flayers look like underneath, and I don't know if I care to know. Kind of assume it's just more tentacles. They just kind of flop into nothingness when you kill him. Man, I have not looked at a saxophone in a long time, and I don't think I'm doing it justice. Whatever, that's fine. We'll go like that. Fear my dude. I like that his hands are free. He's just like, I think that would be the benefit of being a Mind Flayer bard, is you could just, well, one, you could just transpose your music right into the brains of anything you're playing, which is kind of cool. But then two, you don't have to hold your instruments. So you can have all kinds of fun advantage with that. I think you can do the same thing with a What are the elephant people called? I don't know. A Luxodon. Luxodons kind of fell off the map, didn't they? I'm talking. A whole bunch of people like Luxodons, and now they're just... No one cares. It's weird. I assume people care. I just haven't talked to them recently. I used to get a Luxodon suggestion like every other week. That might have been from the same person. Someone used to suggest tiny elephants every week. Now that I think about it. We haven't had to draw a tiny elephant in a while. There we go. That's so sloppy. I love it. It's just sketches everywhere. What are your opinions about redesigning D&D races because of what I'm doing with my D&D character? I mean, that's kind of my whole channel. That's kind of what the whole YouTube channel is. Yeah. Just for except Mind Flayers and Lizard Folk. Yeah, I would check out any of the Lizard Folk video that I made. But all of them are basically just like, it's fair. Tasha's did a really good job of letting you kind of blend whatever you want with whatever you want. Hello, Lars. Welcome. But yeah, I don't see a problem with homebrewing or shifting any of the races that currently exist, or making your own for that matter. Like you can get away with a lot of just like grabbing a kobold and saying it's not a kobold, it's a mouse folk, and then just adjusting things where it needs to be adjusted. So, Theater of the Mind, beautiful place. Lars, did you get my message? Oh, did you? That's good. I remember... I don't want to ruin this for you because that sounds really cool. The Adventure Zone did that exact thing as a one shot. You should check out that video. It's really funny. Jump rope. Which Adventure Zone one shot was that? Was it with her at the school with the Mind Flayer? You can't hear what's going on in the chat.
I don't remember.
I'll find it. I'll send you a link. It's funny. It's probably not exactly what you're talking about, but like with brief description, that's the plot. Yeah, exactly. Simpsons did it. Okay, there's my... Can someone get me some saxophone music for this Mind Flayer, and then we'll call this one done. Yeah, okay, sorry, go ahead. So, just trying to, like, fight off the Mind Flayer's mind puzzles? Like, are you trapped in the mind the whole time, or is he just, like, psychically assaulting you for each room? Oh. Lars got muted. Okay. We'll wait on that one. You know which one you're talking about?
I think it's the school one.
That's what I just asked you if it was the school one, but I don't
had to
remember what it's
look it
called.
up 'cause I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
I will also look it up. Sexy Sax Man from Mike Diva. Yeah.
He is above the law. Oh, pranks, not cool. Listen to authority figures, people. Sometimes when it's important to do so. Don't get arrested because you want to play the saxophone. That's all I'm saying. I don't know, unless you're in some kind of footloose situation and your dad is the authority figure. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I've kind of lost the plot. Yeah. Wow. Well, it's not my fault it blew up. That's a great, what was the horn? It was the horn of blasting. Is that what it was called? That was a really cool item. I'm sad that it broke on the first attempt, but. Yep. Hey, if you're gonna be a great rocker, you got to learn how to melt some faces. That's all I'm saying. So, I gotta see your response. So my question that I've posed to Lars. They're bears of mystery. The encounter's not over yet, so I'm not saying anything. That's a fair DM response. Oops. Discord just pooped itself, so hold on a second. We're jumping back in. I got time for one more quick sketch. There we go. And we're back. Okay, I accidentally clicked a button and it broke everything. So that was fun. I have time for one more suggestion if somebody's got something. Corvus, welcome back. I do like the Sasquatch playing the saxophone. That's pretty good. I can't find out which one this is. There's an Adventure Zone one shot where they go to high school, and you should watch that one. It's great. It's like 2 hours long. I think you'd appreciate it. It sounds like what you're talking about, but I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do with what you're talking about because of the way how those guys are. But I think you would appreciate it. What should I draw? I'm going to draw a kobold. If no one's going to say anything else, I'm going to suggest myself a kobold. So I haven't drawn one in a little while, and the second edition kobolds are adorable. I got to figure out the snoot though. Not quite happy with how the snoot's been. I've been drawing the snoots. What? Mm. Just fast travel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's not uncommon. I think a lot of people struggle with that. And it's like a low-level thing. Like, because at the point where you're up to the higher levels, people can teleport. Not to mention, like, any good bandits would see that you're like a level 10 party and just be like, nope, not those guys. So the only thing you're really dealing with is whether or not you, A, know how to get where you're going, and B, can get there without, accidentally walking into a bear cave and getting murdered. So I think survival checks are really important for that kind of thing. And I think you can really build them more like skill checks than anything else. Like, I need someone in the party to make 3 rolls for this journey. If anybody fails it, maybe an encounter happens or a chance for an encounter happens. I generally have 2 or 3 encounters set up for general travel. And, like, if travel happens, then I roll whether or not those events happen. But yeah, I mean, like, it just really depends on the party.
Mm-hmm. Jonas, welcome. Yeah, I see what you're saying. How do you convey that an area is dangerous without just constant combat? That's a great question. Some things I've seen and looked at are, first off, like there's always that option of do you go quick or do you go safely. That only matters if there's a time crunch on the players. So if there's not already a time constraint, like you have 4 days to do said thing, that doesn't matter. It's like why would they take the fast route? It's like, let's just go the safe route. And then it's like, okay, you guys get there and it's fine. Unless you have, there has to be pressure for them to choose the faster route, right? If you're going to fast travel, there has to be pressure for the faster route. Whether that's, you might be able to like head off someone you're chasing, or someone in the party is dying. If you don't have that pressure constraint, it's less important to say like, oh, okay, this trip is going to be dangerous and fraught with terrors. And it is more like, it's going to be really simple for you to get from this town to this town. It's going to take some time. Go ahead and do one check to see if you make it. Or maybe you can say something to the effect of, the road is fine, but you're going to have to take multiple days. And then you can have them roll their checks for night. Like, what do you do? Because you roll a survival check to see how well you can hide the cart from bandits on the road, or make sure you find a good spot to pull over, so that you can set up camp without having a group of goblins come up in the night. I think there's a couple different things to look at there. Basically, is kind of deciding what's the party doing, what's their attitude towards the trip. Is it a one-way trip? Are they coming back? And I think setting those checkpoints are more important than directly throwing people into combat. So like, think about the Oregon Trail, right? Like you're going, if you roll really bad on your survival check, like, oh, someone forgot to pack the food up after camping last night. You guys just lost 10 days worth of food. It's like, shit, dang it. So the encounters don't have to be combat based. They can definitely be events or skill checks, or maybe the cart breaks, as well as you can have good events. If you're keeping your eyes watching out for things, like maybe you find something really cool on the side of the road that you can investigate, or you come across a combat that already happened, and it just leads to a tiny side quest. Maybe bandits already struck a caravan and someone wants your help. Spiders. There's always spiders in woods. You come across a log blocking the road. Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And in that respect, taking the dangerous route might break the fast dangerous route might break their cart, or it gets stuck in the mud, and that slows them down, right? But all of that can be based on their rolls. So if you know there's a thunderstorm coming, it's like you can wait 2 days, or you can leave now, but then you're going to have to make those rolls to keep the cart out of the mud, to make sure your things aren't getting broken or wet while you're traveling. Maybe they have to stay up all night trying to fix the cart, and then they get fatigued. And that's the punishment for them failing their saves, is that they get fatigued for the next part of the journey. Yeah. I think those are how you make combat more interesting and dangerous, instead of just fighting things, right? What's the Crystal Chronicles event? Like, you're going from town to town and someone just robs your cart because you're not paying attention. Like, no combat happens. They just like and steal one of your items. Like that's an option too. This is a bandit infested territory. They're like, yeah, we're gonna fight stuff, and it's like, Pick one item in the cart. Like, how about this one? Okay, it's gone. It's like, dang it. What happened? That happens. Yeah. Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily have it be something like your weapon, unless it's like, what do you guys have stored in the cart? Like, oh, I put all my spears and weapons and stuff back there. Versus, like that's how I would, like, everyone rolls and like, hey, what do you guys have in the cart right now? Like that's how you would ask it, and then whatever they say, like, you pick or you roll and pick something out of that and it's gone. Or they they get to the next spot and they like, we're gonna set down for the night. It's like, well, none of the food is in the cart. Somebody took all the food out of the cart. And now, because of that failed check, you failed the perception check or your survival check during the ride, you're all going to get fatigued tomorrow because you didn't get to eat. Something to that effect, right? So then they get to their destination faster, but they are weakened because of it. That being said, if they succeed in their perception check while they're riding the cart, like, you see a small goblin just sitting behind a rock staring at you. And it's just like, hey, get out of here. And then the goblin runs away. Like, that's the event. Or maybe they, follow the goblin back to a hideout, and then they get to fight goblins for road loot, which I guess could be more food or a better cart. Yeah, those are all fun mechanics for travel. I like versus just roll for combat encounter, which can be fun too. I mean, depends on the type of game you're playing. Right. No, and exactly. That's kind of what I was saying. Like, once you get to the level where you're level 5 or 6, and if they have, especially if they have, what was the example? The tiny fortress. I can't remember the name of it, but like, if every night you can build a giant metal castle, no one's gonna bother you. Like, travel is just it's fine to fast travel at that point. If bandits show up, like, you're gonna murder them. Like, it's not even and especially at that point, because it's like, okay, roll me your survival checks. It's like, well, I have plus 13. It's like, you are fine. Like, you being on a road, you will never die from that, ever. Like, nothing bad is gonna happen. You are an expert at traveling from town to town, and that's when fast travel makes total sense. I think that's totally fine at those points. Especially if they have the money and capabilities to, like, we have a really nice cart, we have really good oxen, we have lots of food. Yeah, it's just like, people could hire you. Like, that's another thing you could do. Is just like, do you want to go to a tavern and see if anybody will hire you to escort them to the next town? And then that way they're engaged in it again, and you are rolling for bandit groups that are trying to get these people's treasure, or what are other things you could do with that? Maybe there's like, you have to be really careful with whatever you're carrying. And it's just more skill checks and rolls. And if they succeed, hey, they make a little gold. And that's a fun way to do it. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. It was good talking to you. Yep.
Jonas says, normal, I'd say. How are you doing? Good.
Yeah, Jonas, you've been streaming a lot lately. That's really good. Nice to hear from you. It's been, like I said, it's been a quiet week. I haven't seen a lot of people around, so I hope everyone is doing all right. It's good to hear from people. It is December. I've said this before. December's a busy time. Travel. I still don't quite know what I would put on the end of a stick. Like, the scorpion on a stick is like the best. The best bet. So, I really do want to play a small kobold that has a shovel. I don't know why I like shovels for weapons. I just think they're interesting. I am a fan of Shovel Knight, but partially because Doc had a shovel and was a cleric and not a knight long before Shovel Knight existed. And I was like, that's my thing! And then I played it, I'm like, oh, this isn't my thing. But it's still good! It is the noon o'clock. I think this is probably a good place to call it. Had some pretty good conversations today. Got to draw some fun things. I'll post all of these in the Discord and draw so people can take off with their pictures if they want to use them for something. That could be a lot of fun. Jonas, welcome. Welcome back. Oh, I need to draw the tail. We'll draw the tail real quick. Right at the end, yeah. How's Phasmophobia going? No, no. Oof. That's no good. Oh, no. Well, you sound okay, so we can at least talk to you. That's good. But that's a bummer. That is a bummer. All right. Yep. Doing pretty good. How are you doing? Besides the internet. Said, how's everything else going besides the internet? Good. Good to hear. All right. Yeah, adulting things just become more and more as you adult. Never goes away. That's good. That is the weird thing about adulting, is that eventually it's like, I always have that moment with D&D whenever I'm about to DM. It's like, you know, if it got canceled today, that'd be fine. But it's like, I really want to play D&D though, but I also just don't want to do anything. Like, I always constantly I'm fighting with my introverted self to just be like, or you could just go watch cartoons. That'd be great. You could do cartoons. Yeah, no, it's good to actually keep those promises. And I do really love seeing my friends and playing D&D, but there's always that in the back of my mind. It's just like, well, we could just not do anything. That'd be fine too. Adulting. It's a thing. It's a thing. I don't know. As long as you're aware of it, like that's the important part. All right, there's my shovel, Kobold. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun drawing these little chubby guys. Do I still have the other thing open? This is what we did yesterday on Twitch. So that's something I'm going to keep working on, but it's going to be a little while. Boop. So that'll be fun. But I accidentally let this run for like 10 hours yesterday. I walked away from my computer and I came back and it was still playing. And I was like, oh, I hope that's not going to break anything. We'll see what happens. But all right. That's that. Thanks for hanging out today, everybody. That was a lot of fun. You found the Adventure Zone live stream. What was it? What's the name of it? Posted in Discord. Okay. Live in Austin. Okay, great. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's it. I think we're going to call it for today. Tomorrow is Thursday. We're going to be doing some commission work, I think, again. I'm going to try to get those videos up. Oh, tomorrow. Are we playing D&D tomorrow? Do you want to play D&D? Yeah? Yeah? We can't. Well, what time is your... D&D? D&D maybe? What? Correct. Well, no, it should be like an hour before my stream. Usually start at 9 instead of 10. I don't know. Doughboy said he might not. He was asking about next week, so I don't know if this week is not good for him. And I know it's almost Christmas, so it's like if it doesn't happen this week, it doesn't happen. But maybe Friday too. We could do it Friday morning instead. Okay, let's see what people want to do for Thursday or Friday, and we'll go from there. Yeah, okay. Well, let's try for Friday. We'll try for Friday. So maybe D&D Friday, tomorrow, probably commission work or animations. Who knows? Could be a lot of fun. Aside from that, thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I hope everybody's staying happy and healthy. And remember to keep your dice on the table. We will catch you